And joining us now to provide some perspective, Deborah Blum, a criminal defense attorney out of New York City, and Wendy Patrick, a prosecutor out of California. Wendy and Deborah, thank you so much for speaking with us tonight. And first off, we've got to revisit this. Cosby's break came because of a lack of due process. The deal breaker, the lower court admitting testimony the former DA agreed would never be used to convict Cosby criminally. Deborah, if I can start with you, is this a widely known legal ruling of honoring a previous DA's promise?
Well, a non-prosecution agreement is supposed to be exactly that the prosecution isn't going to prosecute you in exchange for testimony. They're giving you immunity. So that's what Cosby entered into in 2005. And then almost 12 years later, the DA's office decided to unseal his testimony in that civil deposition and use it against him to proceed and prosecute him criminally. So technically, the Supreme Court of Pennsylvania, their highest court, is correct. A non-prosecution agreement is supposed to be exactly that, and Cosby should have never been prosecuted.
Deborah, it sounds very cut and dry, but Wendy, would the prosecution have just argued that the testimony should never have been withheld?
Well, remember that this issue was very strongly litigated back at the beginning of the trial, and there was more to it. There was a press conference, there was some more context, and words matter, and the court looked at all of that, as did the office that went forward on the case. But the Supreme Court was very clear in Pennsylvania regarding what they viewed as something that barred subsequent prosecution. Let me tell you what's important about this ruling. I have heard it during the course of the day characterized in a number of different ways. It is not a reversal on the merits. It is not some sort of a rehashing of the facts. It's a procedural deficiency in that he should not have been charged to begin with. Because remember what happened as a result. It wasn't that that promise was just made. Mr. Cosby relied on it in providing deposition testimony in the civil case, which was then used in criminal court. So the court really went through the analysis, and after going through that, that is how they came to their decision. And the DA's office came out, they made their statement as well, and one of the things they said, I think we would all agree with, is that regardless of what you think about this decision, it shouldn't dissuade sexual assault survivors of who, no matter who the perpetrator is, from coming forward and revealing their story.
Right. You make such good points about this historic decision. He was the most prominent and first real case in the Me Too movement. But again, there were a couple of factors here. Deborah, one was the fact that the prosecution called these 5 witnesses, later deeming that prejudicial. And that was something that Cosby's defense actually tried to fight from the beginning in lower courts, right?
Yes, those are what's known as uncharged acts witnesses. So their prosecution asked to have them testify to establish a pattern of behavior, that he would drug women and then take advantage of them sexually, and that they're unable to consent due to them being drugged by Bill Cosby. So in the first trial, only one uncharged acts witness testified. In the second one, the judge allowed for 4. And the Supreme Court took issue with that, saying that it was too highly prejudicial against Cosby and that it didn't provide him with due process of the law.
Wendy, the Pennsylvania Supreme Court actually voiced concern that there was this difference between witness testimony and a character attack. What is the difference legally?
Well, legally, you would probably argue that the jury has to follow the judge's instructions. And, you know, I could argue both sides of this. I began my career doing Deborah's job as a criminal defense attorney. But patterns make the predator is the way in which you have prior bad acts admitted. Because it's basically showing, well, there was no mistake, there was no identity difference, it was a pattern of behavior. But the real tricky thing for both sides is to ensure that the jury uses evidence only to the extent that they're permitted to under the law. Because remember, the trial was only for Andrea Constant. It wasn't against those other women, most of whom were time barred by the statute of limitations. But it seems like the very most important thing to the court was the prior agreement, and that gave them an argument that Mr. Cosby didn't have the kind of due process. It's a very hard decision especially for the survivors to appreciate. Here they are, they thought that justice delayed had not been justice denied. So at the very least, it is something to remind them that this was not a reversal on the merits.
But you know, when I hear you both speak and you're saying it so clearly, it still feels like for most people this was a huge surprise. But really, considering why this case was overturned, should it have been a surprise?
Well, the funny thing is that he was just recently denied parole on the basis for his refusal to accept responsibility. Also, he wasn't on good behavior while he was serving his prison sentence. So he's not remorseful. And for the victims, obviously, that's very difficult for them to digest.
Wendy, I have to get your side on this, because I'm just saying, look, for the sake of this case and why it was overturned, could we have seen this coming?
I would say no, because these things were litigated before, and people think, oh, well, 3 years went by, it's probably final, without recognizing that behind the scenes, there's a lot going on. First of all, we had the denial of parole a month ago. We have a lower court that already looked at this and upheld the conviction. So the lawyers have been busy litigating and appealing the facts of the case. But the public wouldn't have seen that coming, because unless you do the job like Deborah and I do, you don't recognize that conviction is never the end. It's certainly something that at least the defense will continue to fight, the appellate courts will continue to review. But I would say that the grounds for reversal here is probably a surprise to many people watching.
Okay, one more question, Deborah, I can give it to you. Can he be retried?
No, the Supreme Court said he cannot, which is the most shocking thing of this all. Usually if a conviction is overturned, the DA's office is allowed to re-prosecute, but here they cannot. And maybe they're going to appeal. We'll have to see what happens.
All right, I know we'll all be watching. Ladies, thank you so much for joining us this evening.